Those election-related efforts also dealt another blow by judges in our state today.
For an update on that, let's get to News 8's Lindsay McComo.
Soon, Brian, a judge dismissed what became known as the Kraken in Michigan, and a portion of that dismissal read that it was, quote, less about achieving the relief plaintiffs seek, as much of that relief is beyond the power of this court, and more about the impact of their allegations on people's faith in the democratic process and their trust in our government. Plaintiffs asked this court to ignore the orderly statutory scheme established to challenge elections and to ignore the will of millions of voters. This, the court cannot and will not do. The people have spoken. Now, separately, Barry County Sheriff Dar Leaf was the lead plaintiff in a filing submitted yesterday in the Eastern District Court where the Kraken was dismissed, and then again today in the Western District. That's already been thrown out as well. That filing asked the court to order the state preserve all election data and machines, and went on to include about a dozen or so affidavits from both Barry County residents and others who live on the east side of our state, who mainly alleged that they had concerns with using a black Sharpie at their polling location. That's something that began floating on Election Day as possibly invalidating votes. But as the Kent County clerk showed us that week, there's nothing wrong with using a marker even if it bleeds through.
It's called a zero tape, and every contest you'll see there are no ballot markings, no votes.
The ballot is fed into the tabulator. If the machine was confused by the bleed through, the tally on the tape wouldn't match the votes cast on the ballot.
After I cast my ballot, you'll see that each of these votes that I made, despite the bleed through in the ballot, was recorded.
Now, we do have that story linked inside this story at woodtv.com. The George W. Bush nominee who already denied the Leaf filing is Chief Judge Robert Yonker. He wrote this afternoon in part, quote, applications invite the court to make speculative leaps towards a hazy and nebulous interference that there has been numerous instances of election fraud and that defendants are destroying the evidence. There is simply nothing of record to infer as much less conclude that irreparable injury will occur before the defendants can be heard. I've also tried reaching the sheriff for comment today. He has not responded. I did briefly speak to the filing attorney on that. She did answer and said she would have to call me back. She's not gotten back to me either. This morning I did speak with the Barry County prosecutor. She told me that she has yet to see any complaints filed with her office related to the election.